The Sweet 16 Maxi Madness is down to the top 16 competitors. This week it kicks off. You decide who makes it to the Elite Eight. And then, folks, we're almost there. Wednesday, the Final Four. And then Thursday, the Maxi Madness Championship. Who will it be? Yesterday, I got some breaking news to the desk of Timmy Tether. Timmy Tether broke the news that Tim B, yes, Tim B, now the 15th seed in the Pod Comp region, he's facing Lawrence Lepard today in the Sweet 16. Tim B is short of Timothy Bitcoins. I was able to find his birth certificate through a FOAI request. Turns out Tim B shortened his name to distance himself from Joey Bitcoins and Teddy Bitcoins. But Tim is the third bastard Bitcoin son of going parabolic Jason Williams. So, if you thought that Teddy Bitcoins and the Bitcoins brothers were a problem, well, Maxi Madness passed. Unfortunately for you today, you're waking up, you're finding out the Bitcoins brothers were still just maxing in Maxi Madness. But that's not the only thing going on in the news this week. He just woke up to an Omega candle in the S&P 500, in Bitcoin, in gold, a red Omega candle to the downside in oil, as Donald Trump is apparently seeking a peaceful resolution and reopening the Strait of Hormuz in Iran. Still no confirmation that Didi is alive. Nobody's seen it. He canceled his CPAC appearance in Eastern Europe. The timelines accelerate. Maxi Madness is correlated with a bullish trend in Bitcoin prices. You may be seeing the return of the bull market. I don't know if that's Maxi Madness to Maxi Madness' credit or not, but Richard, how are you doing? What's going on with the Nostra Maxi Madness bracket? Because for the first time in Maxi Madness history, we've had to do some middle of the tournament play-in rounds due to some user experience issues. Go ahead, catch us up there and let us know what's going on.
It has been a lot less of a shit show than I anticipated. I was concerned about, I was bracing for impact, because I am a Nostra user. I know how it works and I know how bad the UX is. And, while it's been less than optimal, it's been actually pretty stellar. But essentially what happened is there were some votes that weren't counted, so we had to issue a recount, and we had to talk to the Primal team in order to get some bugs fixed, which caused it. But, different users were seeing different amounts, and so on a poll between Jack Dorsey and friend of the show, Rev Hodl, it showed some people that Dorsey won, like me, and then others that Rev Hodl had won. And in reality, Rev Hodl had won. So yeah, we had to disqualify a couple people, disqualify Jack Dorsey. I think the fans were very excited to see Jack Dorsey disqualified. That made a lot of people happy.
Some, not the people that voted for him to win Maxi Madness in the prediction markets, though.
Well, really, I didn't hear anything from them.
Yeah, the Nostra tournament, the stakes are high. This is not just social capital price discovery in action. There is money on the line. There are sats on the line. The people were betting on Jack in the prediction markets. Predicts had to resolve. The prediction markets showing Dorsey, or Dorsey winning. People lost some sats. I haven't seen anybody complain too much about it. That's just the way it works. I mean, listen, if you're betting on a tournament taking place on a beta feature like polls on Primal with the user experience difficulties that protocols like this face. This is prediction market on the frontier. It's not always going to be simple, seamless, and easy. But another news, Noster, Maxi Madness branding was red last year, and this year it's blue. Primal copying Maxi Madness, going from red to blue in their new logo. Slowly, and we kind of started using, it's kind of like when Twitter switched to X, people were still calling it Twitter, people still using the old logo. We've been using the old logo of Primal. They reached out to us in the back channels and they said, yo, the new Primal logo is blue, baby. It's blue. It's go time. So we had to switch out. We had to change a lot of assets and stuff that we create. I mean, we have a team of geeks in India making our graphics for Maxi Madness. We had to get in touch. They made them all in like February, early March. We had to get in touch with those guys and have them change our branding to add the new Primal logo. But other than that, you're right. It has been a pretty seamless tournament for this, new feature.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of low seeds do really well in the Noster tournament. So Ben Werman made it to the Sweet 16. He was a 15 seed. You have Rev Hodl, 16 seed in the Sweet 16. And Dude was also a 16 seed. And Ephraim Fennickson was a 15 seed.
Do you know anything about this dude? Dude
is I think he's Noster's Tim B. He's a dark horse.
So he's not Noster's new Svenholm. He's Noster's Tim B. So it's not new.
I don't think a lot's known about Dude. There was just a Noster insider that gave the selection team the suggestion of including him in the tournament.
Does he have a podcast?
I don't believe so. I guess that's where he's different.
Is he a maxi? I guess that would be on Noster's, more or less, a Bitcoiner. Yeah, why keep him out?
Interesting. I don't know, Mike Brock's on Noster. He's not really a Bitcoiner.
Yeah. American Hodl, I saw him on the Noster timeline yesterday. He was accusing the Bugle of using the Dominion voting machines for Maxi Madness because of all the irregularities in the polling results. Now you think American Hodl, of all people, would understand the user experience frictions of a decentralized protocol like Primal, like Noster. But, American Hodl, like many of the plebs, never waste an opportunity to talk on builders, to talk on entrepreneurs, to people who know how to code. It's a lot easier to gesture max than it is to build something and to promote, successful tournaments and campaigns. But American Hodl still, nothing but love for American Hodl. Friend of the show, I guess you could say. I just Fluttered last year. He crashed out during Paper Bitcoin Summer, and he went over to Noster for a day. And when he saw what Odell and American Hodl let plebs get away with on Noster, he was horrified. And there's some truth to that. I mean, Hodl and Odell, it's like the Wild West over there on Noster. They just let the plebs get away with murder. God damn him. Hey, that's part of why people love it. It's part of why people love it.
Well, the dynamic that's so different about Noster is you can't block people, and many of these influencer type individuals kind of control their public perception by blocking people, and you can't. Like Predator's like this. Predator's very block happy. I think he's got you blocked. I think he has the Bugle kind of blocked.
Well,
for some
Predator
reason,
Predator has had the Bugle and Rob Palmer, myself, on Twitter. He's had us blocked since the first Maxi Madness. the first Maxi Madness, we didn't even make it to the second round. The full player had enough. He was like, this is the biggest noise, waste of time, a Bitcoin influencer popularity contest. So he's missed out on a lot of Maxi Madness history.
So a lot of people were accusing Maxi Madness of being a distraction. And
yeah,
I don't really understand how they see it as a distraction. What are we distracting from? Somebody said that it was a distraction from monitoring the situation.
well, I mean, Maxi Madness is a situation to be monitored. And in my opinion, is probably not a Maxi Madness is a good example of a situation that you can monitor and have enough. If you pay close enough attention to listen to 40 hours of Bitcoin podcast per week, you have enough information and context to know it's bullshit and what's signal. And I think it's like training wheels for monitoring the situation. If you can monitor the Maxi Madness situation, you can monitor some of these broader geopolitical macro situations, which are just, rife with disinformation, information where psyops, OSINT slop, AI videos of Tel Aviv, same AI videos of Tel Aviv getting blown up every day. It's like, this is live footage from Tel Aviv, and it's just like missiles raining down from the sky. When you've got friends, if you have friends who live in Tel Aviv and they're sending you, Snapchat videos, first of all, if it was live, there wouldn't be nighttime, because if you know time zone differences, it's daytime in Israel when some of these videos were coming out. The explosions, the chaos, it's just not real. And the same goes for Iran and a lot of these other countries. You just have no idea what's really going on over there at any given time. And so monitoring a situation can be full of psyop landmines that you can fall for. I don't know. It's not a distraction. I think it's a supplement, if anything.
Did you see the ghost of Tehran?
Are you referring to people thought they saw Shinobi, Naruto running through Tehran? Funny, basically Israel and the United States were launching just a onslaught of precision targeting weapons, and they could not hit the ghost of Tehran because he was Naruto running too quickly to the streets, and people thought it was Shinobi. Is that what you're referring to, or something else?
No, they have a guy going around on a flying carpet shooting down F-16s.
Oh, yeah. He even got an F-35, I saw. Those magic carpets, those Persian rugs, those things turn on a dime. We're spending billions, $100 billion to build an F-35. Half of them crash out in training. The other half made it to Iran, finally made it to war. And then you've got these, $2,000 Persian rugs just absolutely dominating these F-35 machines we built in the skies over Tehran, these dogfights. And that is part of the problem. We have a much more advanced, a much more high-cost, prestige technology, stealth weaponry. Our military is far more advanced than Iran when it comes to expenses. We spare no expense. But Iran, the Persians, they've got endless drones, endless of these like Hellfire missile or hypersonic missiles that they can launch anywhere in the Middle East. And they just got Persian rugs in these military caches. They just roll them up and they can stuff them down in these climate controllable containers. They can rip these things out and launch into the sky to battle in dogfights for air supremacy. And you shoot one of these fly carpets down. Okay, well, that was $2,000 worth of technology. You just spent $1 billion to shoot down 2,000. It's not sustainable. And the Strait of Hormuz is pure chaos. Oil prices, energy prices, they could go through the roof this summer because we just can't stop. It's not a sustainable battle. They just got so much cheap technology. but it's effective.
I know the libs are queuing up the Trump "I did it" stickers for the gas pumps, but I almost wonder if we should start doing Persian rug carpet or like stickers to put on the gas pump. So you just got this Iranian guy
Yeah, this is
holding.
this is where the Dems keep messing up. They want to give Donald Trump credit for everything. And Donald Trump does not deserve credit for high gas prices. They believe Air Force pilots who are flying the magic carpets in Iran or to blame for this. And they deserve credit. It's like all the grumpy Bitcoiners and they deep on the bear trap. They give BD credit for everything instead of, sometimes their own successes in their own lives, they don't even give themselves credit for it. They blame BD for the situation. And it's again, we talked about this the past few weeks. You've got until the end of May to blame BD and Trump for everything. It's Michael Summers about taking personal responsibility, both the good and the bad.
Shinobi's been crashing out all over Twitter about everything. He has a new reason to crash out every 5 minutes. Do you think that he's going to get on the white guy summer train, or is he going to fight it?
Oh, no. Shinobi's going to fight Michael Summer. Michael Summer is such a fun, lighthearted. It's just a good time, and he's allergic to things like and somebody else contact inside the Bitcoin conference told me that the ticket sales are a lot lower this year than previous years. And Shinobi's a little bit stressed out. He's a little bit nervous because this year at the Bitcoin conference, the only people who are going to be there is going to be Shinobi. He's going to be surrounded by all the people he's called retarded in the past few years. And the people are mainly buying tickets to the Bitcoin conference in Vegas this year for the opportunity to confront Shinobi for all of the trash talk and the names and all the mud he's been slaying on Twitter for the past year and a half. And Shinobi has said he's going to wear a mask. He's going to stay disguised, keep his OPSEC in Vegas. But the thing is, Shinobi's just the way the plebs lack self-awareness. Shinobi does in some ways as well, because Shinobi thinks he just puts on a mask and that the plebs don't recognize him. And that's the only thing they know. Shinobi's is him wearing a mask with his ponytail in his military depot camouflage gear. Maybe a plot top t-shirt. He sticks out like a sore thumb. He's very tall.
He's got a very loud voice. And like when you have somebody screeching at you on Twitter Spaces calling you retarded, it's kind of hard to forget the voice.
Yeah, Shinobi is a grown adult, but his voice is still cracking, like somebody going through puberty when he screams at people on Spaces and calls them retarded, and he's going to be unable to use his inside voice at the conference this year. People are going to hear that echoing shrill screech from all the way over, across the expo hall. You're going to go find him. Passano Gold wants to fight Shinobi.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the situation with markets this week. They're behaving very strangely this morning. We're recording Monday morning before market open, and Bitcoin took a little bit of a pump after dumping pretty hard in the evening last night. I was kind of expecting catastrophe for the market because gold has been behaving extremely erratically right now. There's like a big sell-off in precious metals and Bitcoin.
Bitcoin has outperformed gold 25% since the beginning of this war in Iran. And flip-floppers are getting a little bit of life. You ever watch WWF, professional wrestling? when it seems like Hulk Hogan or some wrestler is down and out, it's over for him. The match is lost. And then all of a sudden, that hand, it comes up. It starts to shake, and the fans, they see the energy and they start to cheer, and they use the vibes and the energy of the crowd to like stand back up and to turn the entire match around. And that's what the Plug Sloppers are doing with this gold, decoupling from the performance of Bitcoin. And they're starting to say, Bitcoin is the real story value. And gold is the quote unquote not real story value. This is a big development, but it's some people, they didn't see it come.
I think this is part of the reason why Bitcoin Twitter has died off a lot is people just don't, they've got so frustrated with not knowing how to call Peter Schiff retarded, because with gold pumping so hard, they kind of look retarded. They've been calling Peter retarded for years and years and years and years. And then finally he somewhat vindicated with gold ripping and Bitcoin being uninteresting. And they are just crashing out, not knowing what to do. When that switch happens, when the Bitcoin gold death cross happens, and Bitcoin starts outperforming for an extended period of time, I think they're going to be back ready to dunk on Peter Schiff pretty hard, and it'll be exciting.
Likely summer is going to be a celebration of a lot of things, but one of those things will be the return of just dunking on Peter Schiff every morning. And I think people are really excited about that. But yeah, we'll be monitoring markets, the year, all that stuff. But I wanna circle back here to the 316 Maxi Madness. And we'll get into the Twitter tournament here shortly, but I'd like to hear some of your predictions for the 316. Who do you think, now that we've narrowed it down, who do you think is the top two to watch for your favorites, and maybe the top two dark horses who might be able to finish the Cinderella run?
I think a lot of people are excited about Tim B. There's a lot of people that are really Oh, you're asking me about the Noster bracket? I was talking about the Twitter bracket.
Yeah, we'll get into that one next.
Yeah, for Noster, I think Dude is kind of a shocker. I think Ben Werman has a good shot, good matchup against Walker here. If I were a betting man, which I don't feel comfortable with putting any money on predicts because I'm facilitating, the bracket, but I'd probably put money on Rev Hoddle right now. I think he's got a really good shot for winning the whole thing. He just continues to get momentum. He's probably the most engaged with his audience. He's really milking it right now.
I'm curious about, you think Odell is still the overall favorite? You think he's still in it? He seems tough. And then, Ben Justman, he's been crushing it. He was doing well in the Maxi Madness on Twitter. But he was in the hot region, which was very competitive. They still got Noah Ruin, and then he Paul Keating. He's probably the hottest person in the Maxi or in the Noster tournament when it comes to abs. He's got really good abs, and he looks like he uses Bugle as shampoo. His hair is very, very luscious. Do you see any of these guys with a path to victory, or is it mostly down to Rev Hoddle and Dude in your mind?
I definitely think the problem with Maxi Madness is anything can happen. It's almost like the least likely scenario is what always plays out. And I don't know. I've been shocked every year. I've been shocked. It's you go to sleep at night with expectations of how the polls are going to look in the morning, and oftentimes they're the complete opposite of where you left off when you went to sleep, and it's so hard to know. So hard to know how it's going to play out, what's going to happen. But
And
yeah,
the polls open what in about an hour and a half.
I gotta post the Nostra polls in like 25 minutes. I think I'm starting an hour earlier than Twitter.
Well, speaking of Twitter, this is where the drama is very high. The Sweet 16 is down in the Node region. Now, Rob Hamilton versus Giacomo Zucco, as well as NBK versus Adam Back. In the Pioneer region, Bugle Rockstar versus Casey Rodemore. And then Nifty versus Sampson. In the PodConf region, Yellow, he faced Danny Knowles from What Bitcoin Did. And Lawrence Lepard is taking on Timothy Bitcoin's Tim B, who we'll get into here in a moment. In the hot region, you've got Efrat Phoenixon versus Justine Harper, aka Miss Laudel. And then the last man standing in hot region, Chris Cedar versus Aaron Redwing from Hell Money. Now, in the Node region, this one was very hotly contested, very controversial in the first two rounds, but the Nazis have all been eliminated at this point. And right now, there's a lot of hype being built in some group chats for a Giacomo versus Yellow rematch, which, of course, if you pay attention, was the 2024 Nazi Madness final where Yellow won. And that could be huge. That could be a huge matchup if Giacomo and Yellow keep the momentum. But down in the Pioneer region, Hopeful Rockstar shocked the world on Friday. He eliminated Michael Saylor. Before you made the Sweet 16, Uncle Rockstar is a dark horse for sure in the Twitter tournament. But he's got to make it out of that region against a very hot Casey Orgles. And Nisty's been blowing people out in her matchups. So this is big. And then in PodConf, Yellow, number 1 seed, number 1 overall seed in the bracket, former champion. But Tindy is on a hot streak. And after the news that we learned this weekend, that he is Teddy Bitcoin's younger brother, Teddy Bitcoin's beat Yellow last year. Can Timothy Bitcoin's do it? We'll find out. But I want to know who you think's going to make it out of the hot region, because I think this is anyone's game. Efrat, Justine, Coinjoy Chris, or Aaron Medley.
I have no idea. This is so hard to predict. I don't think anybody knows. I don't even think BB knows. It's these are all really tough competitors, and they are all really in it to win it. These four are pretty competitive. They've been pretty active in the tournament, on the timelines.
They are their own biggest advocates. Efrat, Justine, Chris, Aaron, they are not afraid. Some people, they like to humble glaze their competitors and say the other person deserves to win. Efrat even did that against Lynn Alden, but she still beat her. And I think beating Lynn Alden has really boosted Efrat's confidence. And she's coming into this matchup with Miss Waddle very, very in a very strong position.
Well, she's really on the up and up in a lot of ways. She not very many people made both brackets, both Noster and Twitter. She did, and hardly anybody, if anybody, I think she might be the only one that made the Sweet 16.
Sweet 16s. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be pretty wild if she won both. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it's like in boxing. You got like from multiple different promotions. You got the World Boxing Organization. You got several others. And so somebody might be the heavyweight champion in one division, one promotion, but not the other. Then you've got the champions who are undisputed. They hold every belt. They won every promotion. And if Ifrat wins the Nostra and the Twitter tournaments, she would be the undisputed Maxi Madness champion. And I think it's probably good for Maxi Madness to start off with the split promotion tournament, having an undisputed champion, especially with the different protocol for how the votes work. But it would be very impressive either way.
It's like winning the Triple Crown in horse racing. Yeah, it's
If you trap for Phoenix and wins both tournaments, and then you get to the Kentucky Derby this year, which is in May, and you see a horse named Efrat Phoenixon, bet on it. You should bet on it.
Yeah, so one of my predictions going into the tournament, it was that this would determine the BIP 110 debate, and I'm pretty confident, like in the Node region with all the Nazis getting knocked out. It was pretty wild that Rob Hamilton beat Luke. But what this signifies is they've already socially hard forked. They're debating like an actual hard fork of Bitcoin at some point, but they have already done the social hard fork in not being relevant in the general conversation. And that engaging with them is kind of like shitcoining. It's like using Bitcoin Cash and trading Bitcoin Cash. And I don't think they like that this is being displayed so openly for everybody to see. Like Tomer's having a really hard time with it over the past week, and it's just I don't know where are their voters is my question. Where are the Nazi voters that are all show up to the conference and clap for Mechanic? They don't appear to be voting in Maxi Madness, so I'm not sure what the deal is here. Outside of them just having already done that hard fork and not existing in this conversation anymore. It was pretty fascinating to watch.
Yeah, outside of the echo chamber that they've built, and then a little fork group chat where they'll post their memes and their videos for each other to like and boost. I think it gives for the past 2 weeks, if you look at the trending, like what's happening tabs on the Twitter app, it's always followed on in some discussion about BIP 110. They feel like they are the center of gravity in the culture, but it's fake. It's faking gay. All the fight behind BIP 110 is faking gay. And Maxi Madness, I don't think, is the thing that proved it so much as it did reveal it to a broader audience. That they don't have as much passion and enthusiasm and activity and momentum behind them as they think they do. And this is, they get bogged down in this discussion about nodes not mattering and economic. If your node matters, you don't have to say it matters. Nobody whose node matters has to constantly post about how their node matters. And that's just, it's like the from Game of Thrones, when the young boy king says, I am king, goddammit. And his grandfather tells him, no man who is king must say, I am king. No node which matters must say that it matters. And I think that's a good tell. If somebody keeps telling you, keeps insisting to you, despite nothing you've said to them personally, that their node matters, it's evidence that something's wrong, and that they don't feel like their node matters, and they don't feel like their vote counts.
Tomer's always out there talking about how humble he is. Mike Brock's out there talking about how sophisticated and intelligent he is. Odell's out there talking about how humble he is. Yeah.
Talk is cheap. I mean,
Tom
saying you
Luongo.
are humble, yeah, Tom Luongo.
Tom Luongo is just unbelievable.
You know, I don't really follow as Tom Luongo. I see him occasionally on the timeline. I mean, I kind of know who he is, but I don't listen to him. I don't listen to his podcast or his analysis. What's the too long don't read on Tom Luongo?
He in his own mind is the smartest person in the world, and the only one that knows what's going on. He's kind of like a Jack Cruz type mixed with
like Brock a little bit.
He's just like he walks on. I don't know. He's a dumb Gen X doomer, and he's really obsessed with the city of London. And like the city of London is like his BB. You know what I mean? It's like all the world's problems revolve around the city of London. And
every time somebody prays to the east on the streets of London, he gets an alert on his phone.
He's a huge fan of Jerome Powell. Thinks Powell's fighting the globalists, and yeah, he's got some pretty funny takes to listen to. But it's just it's some of the most incredible experiences are when he's talking to somebody intelligent, and he starts being condescending because he's way smarter than them. He's kind of got that Brockian type attitude where he knows way more, and he doesn't listen to 40 Hours of Bitcoin podcasts. It's very clear he doesn't. He likes to brag about how he doesn't listen to 40 Hours of Bitcoin podcasts a week.
This is the same problem Mike Brock has. Mike Brock is crashing out. I think Mike Brock wrote 77 essays this weekend. He went live. He did spaces at least a dozen times. He's talking about the end of the world, a global economic catastrophe. I think he just must have found out about Iran the other day or something, because everybody else kind of knows about what's going on. Everybody knows. I mean, anybody who filled up their gas tank this weekend knows that gas is between $4 and $7, $10, depending on which city you live in. Mike Brock posted a video, and he says, "I make no apologies for the intensity of the prose that I'm using." And Mike Brock is using intense prose right now to describe. He thinks as the end of the world, he blames everybody but himself. Everybody is to blame for the situation that we are in today. Geopolitically, economically, spiritually, everybody's to blame except for Mike Brock. And this is what we're kind of talking about with White Boy Southern, is we all share blame to some extent on the condition of our communities, our families, our society, the global economic, geopolitical situation. However, none of it gets fixed until people accept the personal responsibility that they bear for any given city. I mean, the responsibility you bear to the world is affecting you very highly responsible for yourself. If you don't make your bed in the morning, you have one person to blame, yourself. The neighborhood. If you oversleep and you forget to wake up for neighborhood watch, somebody might steal an Amazon package off of your neighbor's doorstep. That's not complaining. The thief who stole the Amazon package is to blame. But if you're the neighborhood watch person, you fell asleep, you create partial responsibility. Now you expand it out. President of the United States, you are one vote of, 250 million. So your vector point is proportionate to the other amount of voters. And then when it comes to the world, and the world economy, the world political situation, and yes, BB's fault, but after Memorial Day, where do you come in? Where can you make a difference? Could you start a podcast and influence people, but you didn't? Well, then you've added personal responsibility here that you bear for not having a big enough impact on the situation that approaches your potential.
Yeah, I know that the idea of taking personal responsibility really sounds overwhelming, but the good news is you don't have to do it today. You have until Memorial Day to take that personal responsibility. But I do think it's important to brace for impact on it and start preparing, easing yourself into it. Maybe like a couple days, you can start out like warming up, like a couple days a week. You take personal responsibility, and the rest of the days of the week, you blame BB. So maybe you start out with the weekends. Weekends
like
are
intermittent fasting, intermittent responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Just take a 36-hour, instead of 36-hour fast, take personal responsibility for everything that you do for 36 straight hours. Now, at the end of that 36 hours, you're going to be physically exhausted, physically weak, but there's going to be an endorphin rush that you get from that I think is going to bring you back. You're going to want to take personal responsibility for that again, because you're going to feel weirdly good. I think it'll be exciting.
It will be exciting. Yeah, it'll be great. I mean, it'll just, it is tiring to take personal responsibility, because you have to actually do things, and think about things and face consequences of doing things. The lack of taking personal responsibility is, really simple, because all you do is just, complain and think about other people. But when you're actually like thinking about yourself, and yeah, it's good to ease into it. I think, start out just the weekends, maybe like the first 2 weeks, you just do it on the weekends, and then you start to integrate it into the weekday. And then as you
think about like you split custody with your ex-wife or your kids. You get your kids every other weekend and on every other holiday. Use the same schedule for taking personal responsibility every other weekend and in every other holiday, or like the national guard, 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Take personal responsibility. Be a reserve Army soldier. Be your own hero. Your own, personal responsibility key. Now we've got the Betsy Mana's polls open in 5 minutes. Do we need to get to this year and get to the back to the madness, or
we can
take
do
personal
that.
responsibility ourselves?
We can do that. I think I can do both at the same time to some degree.
Well, I've got to run to some big meetings for Maxi Madness and other stuff for work. But if you want to maybe run to these boosts, and we'll get Maxi Madness going.
All right, sounds good. I will run through the boost.
Thank you so much, folks. Make sure if you're listening to this, and the polls are still not closed, for Maxi Madness 316 on Nostr or X, get on and vote. This is the most important. If you want to take personal responsibility for your place in democracy, It starts with Maxi Madness. See you guys next week. And we will know the champion.
Alrighty, folks. And for the Fountain Booze, first one we got late stage huddle 6006 says, hey, no matter what anyone else is saying, I'm really proud of you guys. Keep up the good work. You know, we appreciate it. It's important to be proud of yourself at the end of the day. I think we're both very proud of ourselves. You know, just you can't ever care about what the plebs think. The plebs are almost always on the wrong side of history. They have no idea what's going on. They're easily manipulated. Like that, for example, the plebs killed Jesus. It's like the lesson of the crucifixion story is that the plebs killed Jesus. So don't be like the plebs. But thank you, Late Stage Huddle. Sasha, 5,000 sat, says, my 5-year-old is requesting we listen to Maxi Madness song on repeat. Perfect. Thank you. You can find that streaming on Fountain, and I'll put it on Spotify here pretty soon. I probably should have already put it on Spotify, but whatever. Glad she's enjoying it. I get messages all the time of people's kids liking the music. It's fun. We all eat. 3,321 sats says bunch of Maxi Madness fags. You know, we all eat. We know you're having fun. You're enjoying it. Don't deny it. And let's be honest. Betting on Maxi Madness on Predicts is way cooler than betting on March Madness. I mean, this is way better. This is just like we're creating our own world, our own reality, our own thing. We're not doing the fiat thing. March Madness, sports polls, fiat. Maxi Madness is what hyper Bitcoinization is about. And if you don't like that, then you don't like hyper Bitcoinization. But we know you like it. Stack Jero 1000 sats says LFG. Sean 1000 sats says fire outro. Thank you. Shadrack 323 sats says this was supposed to be mile high boost, but my flight never took off. Hashtag 40 HPW must continue despite discomfort of delays. Yeah, so TSA's all messed up because they're not getting funding, and now they're all quitting, and it's messing up people's flights. Hopefully what we'll get out of this is we'll be able to smoke cigarettes on airplanes again and not have to get fondled to get on them. Hopefully that's the result of this. And we can get there, folks. We can get there, folks, if you stop putting up with the nonsense of what the pedophilic ruling class is up to. Like the hyper-Bitcoinization is ushering in not having to get fondled to get on an airplane and be able to smoke cigarettes. Like that is what the fixing the money will allow for. Shadrack 211 sats says Rob Hamilton dealt the death blow to my Maxi Madness matchup against Jack Dorsey. I held the major lead the majority of the round and burned all my social capital on leaving me vulnerable to Rob's Maxi boost 21K. I had fun, according to Richard Greaser, the ... Oh, wait. I forgot. Fountain cuts off the boost. Now it doesn't want to load. What the fuck? I'm, Challenges of Noster. Richard Greaser, the true winners are the ones having the most fun. So take that, Giggler. Well, guess what? Because you were having so much fun, you're back in because of a clerical issue. Congratulations, Rev Hoddle. Pies, 121 sats, says, when we having 40 HPW Maxi podcast listener madness, son? I feel like I deserve a top seed in that. And then a bunch of emojis. You can do that whenever you want to. That might be a good one for you to run, Pies, on Oster. We made sure the mechanisms are there for you. I'll be voting in it if you do it. And then 121 sats, mushroom emoji, strong arm, prayer hands. And then another one. Congrats on a hundo, my homies. Keep blazing forward, my G's. Oh, we will. Zoyoxi, 40 HPW, 100 sats, says, still listening to episode 100, but wanted to make the first boost on at least one episode, high quality content. Thank you for listening. PTC on board. Laugh emoji, thumbs up, salute. Noster Gang, let's fucking go. XPLBZX, 101 sats, says, congrats. In my head, top 3 thermodynamically sound weekly podcast, Bugle Weekly. Well, we're the number 1 in the world, just by the way. Bubba 100 sats says, this is for the premature ejaculation of this episode, fitting for quickie celebration. Thanks for doing the intro, Bubba. Appreciate it. But folks, you're listening to the Bugle Weekly. We are in the middle of the madness, and it's fun. It's maddening. Some people are losing their minds. Some people are having the times of their lives. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're voting. You're doing your civic duty. You're getting out to vote. Thank you for participating in our democracy, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bracket season, influencer playoffs, Teddy Bitcoins is in the building. Everybody hungry for that slot trophy. Maxi Madness, lights flash, timelines on fire. Influencer playoffs climbing one rank higher. Hot takes flying like a food core wire. Everybody chasing that pleb slop empire. Maxi Madness, hosting getting frantic. Hot mic gladiators, algorithmic antics. One more round to the last one standing. Clicks on the board, yeah, the slop champ landed. 64 voices screaming through the feed. Podcast prophets selling digital creed. Threads getting spicy, everybody tweeting fast. Every pleb in the stands casting votes for the bracket. Comment section chatting like a sold out arena. Influencers warming up in the meme machine heater. Pre-game spaces, microphones hot. Every hot take cooked in the pleb slop pot. Maxi Madness, lights flash, timelines on fire. Influencer playoffs climbing one rank higher. Hot takes flying like a food core wire. Everybody chasing that pleb slop empire. Maxi Madness, hosting getting frantic. Pod mic gladiators, algorithmic antics. One more round to the last one standing. Clicks on the board, yeah, the slop champ landed. Second round chaos, timelines in a roar. Influencer rivalry, settling the scores. Spaces packed tight like a digital coliseum. Pleb judges watching every meme and every medium. One guy posting charts, one guy selling hope. One guy screaming, yo, that Teddy Bitcoins guy is dope. The culture getting weird, but the pleb still cheer. Every hot take louder when the finals get near. Round after round till the timeline thin. Influencer playoffs narrowing in. Places echo like a championship hall. Every pleb screaming, let the slop fall. Final four get spooky, egos collide. Two loud prophets on opposite sides. Winner gets glory, loser gets roasted. Timeline is scoring, posting controversial quotes. Maxi Madness, like flash, timeline on fire. Influencer playoffs climbing one rank higher. Hot takes flying like a full core wire. Everybody cheesing that pleb stopping fire. Maxi Madness, hosting game frantic. Pod mic gladiators, algorithmic antics. Last one standing in the stop big palace. Crowned by the plebs in the Maxi Madness. One last speech from the slop throne seat. Thanks to the plebs who carry my tweets. Confetti or retweets raining from above. Another year of influence to turn him in love. Maxi Madness, a pleb slop crown. Another champion. Timeline shut down. Same circus next March. Don't pretend you're above it. You'll be back in the bracket. And you'll see for